All right, I'm here with Derek Simonds, EVP of Numa. Thanks for joining us today.
Man, it's my pleasure.
We've had just such an amazing time watching you on the Pitch Tank stage and just hearing about the product. Tell us, what is it that you are most focused on with AI? AI is changing, right? Everyone uses it in a lot of different ways. How are you approaching it as far as a solutions-based focus for the industry?
Well, our big thing is that we want to enhance the employee's productivity, right? So we want to provide that access to communication to customers when the employee at the dealership's not there. And then we want to make the employee's ability to communicate back out to that customer seamless, easy, fast. We want to use the predictive workflows that we're doing. We want to use the predictive scenario scripting that the AI is doing to help make it so much faster and so much easier for the employees to get back in communication with the customers.
Now, I recently read Elon Musk's The Biography by Walter Isaacson, learned a little bit about the early synthesis of the language models and what they tried to model them after. And basically it was like, how can we predict the next word in an Amazon review?
Yeah.
And so when you just said predictive modeling, it sounds like something AI is like specifically should be really good at.
Yeah, it is. And, there's so many fun things about AI. When you look at generative AI, like what they're talking about there, it's really only picking the 80th percentile best next word, right? And so if you think about that, kind of dumbs it down for us humans to consume. But yeah, so that's really what AI is about, right? They have the ability to understand things based upon massive sets of data and pattern recognition. We answered 8 million phone calls last year, 22 million text messages. That's a heck of a lot of learning for the AI.
What is, I was just talking to a dealer who had just learned about your product, and he was like, this is solving a major issue that I have, especially when it comes to call routing and making sure people get right to the right place of communication that they should be. Tell us a little bit about that. I know it's a very common problem.
Yeah, so if you look at what happens when a customer calls in, unfortunately, dealership phone trees are a mess. Like, it's hard to get to where you want to go. And what we're able to do with the integrations with the DMSs is we understand if there's an open RO or an open parts ticket or there's something that is waiting for the customer inside the DMS, and we can actually route that call to the correct employee at the dealership, no matter where they end up in the phone tree.
Wow, so it can ingest all of that and just cut out all the customer frustration, which obviously translates very directly to customer satisfaction.
Yeah, what we've found is that if you can shorten the time that a customer has to be engaged in the dealership phone tree, you're going to get a happier customer. And that's really what it comes down to. So we're shortening that time, we're getting the call to the right person at the right time, and then that predictive modeling is suggesting what the next action should be for the employee. They don't have to do that action, they could do something else. But if it's a call or a text or a suggestion for what to include, that's what we're trying to get to.
I think people are more and more familiar with that level of AI help, right? Do you want to A, B, C, right? Or something else. And so that makes a lot of sense. And even from a usability standpoint, I like the idea of doing things in a familiar way that, the lowest qualified person possible can navigate it, I guess.
Right.
What do you see happening in service? How are these tools most effective in the service side of the business?
So I think there's two parts to it. One of them is what everybody's been talking about for the last couple of years, is scheduling appointments with AI. The challenge with that is that we are probably 18 months away from full-blown AI conversational engagement with the average public. There's people still that get on and go operator, receptionist, 000, and want to talk to somebody, right? And we're fine with that. And so what we try and do is meet the customer where they want to be met. If we have customers that want to go through the full AI experience, we do that with them. If we have customers that want to answer some short questions and get a human back involved, we do that. If the customer wants to text, we do that. And so our AI is able to work with the customer where they want to be, and that's different, right? And so a lot of times you have a point solution that does one thing in one way. What we're doing is offering the customer different ways to engage based upon what level of AI comfort they have.
Where do you see, you obviously have a big staff of developers. You're trying to stay on the edge of this technology that keeps like going over the edge just as everybody catches up to it. I know no one has this like answer in full, but you should have a good purview on it. Where do you see the ideal integrations of AI in the dealership in 12 months in a way that most dealerships can take advantage of?
I think really, if you look at the capabilities of generative AI and AI in general, where we need to help dealerships is in repetitive tasks, right? In workflow, in really continuing to improve the communication aspect of what they're doing with customers. And I think that, we're already well down that path. And really the growth comes because, like I said earlier, we answered 8 million calls. That's a lot of data. So we know what the customer is going to want to do on the call, right? And so do the other AI companies out there. And it's just about how do we make this more efficient, more fast, more better for everybody involved. And it's funny because one of the things you heard me say this also is that we really want to empower the employees to be able to achieve more with the tools that they've got. And so that's what our AI is doing, right? We're cutting down. If you look at the average appointment time it takes a customer and a human, it's about 11 minutes to get an appointment scheduled.
Right.
Yeah, we can get it down to 90 seconds, right?
That sounds so good.
It's so nice to do that. And then think about the time it saves on both sides, right? Yeah. And so we've got a couple of case studies up on our website where we actually talk about that. And we showed the output of calls that a BDC can make when they're getting the AI assistance on the inbound calls.
Oh, wow. Like opportunity cost.
Yep, that's a big thing.
Well, Derek, thank you so much for working so hard to serve the industry and develop this tech. I know we're going to see a lot more from you in the next year. Thank you so much for having me.